Hello, hope you guys are having a fabulous day. My name is Robin. Thank you so much for tuning into this channel. You can go into robinshealing.com if you're interested in your own healing service or a reading with me. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram at Robin's Healing, where you can check me out there, and I'm also offering free live videos. So my topic today is how to sell. This is just something I channeled. I did not know I was going to come on here, and I don't have any of this planned. So what I do is I'm just channeling information just to see what's going to come up. And the first thing that we really want to discuss is the energy of the quality of your products. So if you're going to arrange something, some form of meeting or sales pitch, whatever it is, really making sure that you're knowing your facts about the product. So quality is probably number one, and are they getting their bang for their buck, that sort of thing, because you really have to make sure that people know that they're not being like that there isn't any false advertising. So that would be the first major piece. The second part would be how well do you know yourself? So maybe you're selling yourself as a service, etc. So people become really interested in, how you got into doing, what you've done, that sort of thing. So a little bit of history is fantastic when you're working on allowing other people to kind of get to know you from the inside out. So the key thing too would be making sure that you love yourself, that you're doing a lot of practice yourself on, how you're going to present yourself. So when you actually go to, show who you are, everything's really lining up. So you're feeling balanced when you go to sell, things like that. So making sure, obviously, that you're still, that you're able to promote yourself in a way where you can really profit, because people are putting their faith and trust in you, in your gifts and your talents. It makes sense, doesn't it? Interesting. So the third thing, because balance is really coming up there, making sure also not just that you have balance with yourself, but you're having balanced exchanges with people, and also the balance with the profit, that people feel like they're getting what they really feel like they're worth themselves. So we want to attract, if we love ourselves, then we want to attract other people that love themselves. So they're really there's a nice dynamic personality thing that's happening. Okay, so going into the third thing would be decision making. So how well do you make decisions? Because it's really important that when you're going to sell something, whether it is a product or a service, that you feel really, really, that you feel proud about it. So you have to be like excited, enthusiastic. You have to be driven. That would be a really important piece. You have to feel like drinking lots of water is important as well. So you feel like your energy is very complementary, right? So it helps other people with their own energy. So if you're making a statement that we sell the best soap in Canada, we'll say, you have to say that in a way that you're proud of, that you're a part of, and that people can't resist what you're selling. That would be the key thing. So you really have to know the product well, right? And then you also have to know the self really well. So both things are still very important when we're selling. The other thing so for instance, I'm selling healing, right? So that's an interesting thing to sell. So first things first, it's like, okay, what are the benefits of healing, and how is this going to help? How is this going to help me, right? That's a key thing. We're offering something, people want to know how it's going to help them, and what are the benefits of them actually investing in your product, what you're selling, your brand. And so the key thing would be really highlighting all the do's and all the don'ts type of thing. So advertising is really key when we're doing when we're selling things, because it's important that you're really, really promoting your best qualities, your best things, right? So it would be we're fantastic at keeping other people alive. We're fantastic at keeping people very stimulated. We're fantastic at you know, getting people to where they need to be in their own goals, things like that. So it's kind of like, what are you amazing at, that sort of thing. And then the next piece would be, what have you learned? Like, what are the things that you've learned by, what has gotten you to this point? How do you really know that's the case? So those are the don'ts. Well, the reason how we got to this place is because we realized that there's a need for healing. So that's how we kind of, going back into kind of the other stuff, your background, I noticed that there were a lot of issues with people who struggle with their weight, for instance, when they do diets. And so that's, then I realized that I had to do something about this because people weren't loving themselves as a result, because they weren't getting fit the way that they wanted to. So we'll say, and that's how I became involved in, this society or this program, that sort of thing. So it's really, you have to acknowledge where there's a lack, a void, and then you're filling it, that sort of thing. So the don'ts are, don't try, don't worry, because, I can help you, fix your problems, that sort of thing, right? So it's, I'm the do, and these are the don'ts, that sort of thing. So going back into loving yourself as well, it's really important that you're taking time out to, as I was saying, like, balance your energy as well when you're doing things like selling. You have to be proud of yourself, as we've already discussed, but you have to make sure that there is no ickiness around it, right? Because sometimes selling can be icky. So we don't want any shame associated with expressing ourselves, with, we want to look at things head on, the way that things actually are, and not get caught up in ourselves too much in relation to putting yourself out there. So the key thing would be like, what are all the amazing things that you've already been doing? So these are ways to kind of give yourself that nice pep talk. Why are you where you are today? That would be a key thing. So you don't have to share this with people, but you have to share that information with yourself. You can share that with other people, but the key thing is giving yourself the pep talk, because it's really difficult to get your system revitalized to be able to, like, offer people healing, things like that, right? We have to be in a place where people think that we're doing our own healing, or people trust us, that sort of thing. So it's important that you realize that, your own problems can't be there. They just can't, people can't see your problems. It's important that they're not able to. So it's important that you're dealing with yourself and your own difficulties before you get on stage, or before you really start presenting and showcasing the best version of yourself, right? The other thing would be, what's coming up is like, save the details. So you're leaving some stuff out when you're selling so that people can actually get more interested in and involved. So you're only showing, a few things of what makes you so cool, and then you want people to become interested. They have to make that choice themselves. So we never want to over-explain, say too much, that sort of thing, because it's not really enticing them to come in. So acknowledging where your blocks are right now in your own selling or your sales is really important, so you can start working through some of the things that aren't positive, right? So we're really looking at things head on, not with our blindfolds on. That's important. Recognizing that details are important. 100%. Very, very, very important. So it's important that we're not judging ourselves, because if we're going to present something and then we're going to judge ourselves that we just said that, or, oh my God, what are these people going to think? The second we start to play in that headspace, it's just not a positive thing. We're also not messing with other people's heads either, right? So we're not trying to trick anyone, that sort of thing. We're being very, very authentic, being ourselves. That would be the key piece. So the main ingredient would be, what is your best quality? What makes you you? So when we're doing things like branding, you really have to know yourself. If you're your brand, you have to know you. What makes you awesome? So I'm Robin. I'm a healer. Period. That's what I do. That's just a thing. So no matter what I offer in my services or with my products, they all go back to my healing, me being a healer. And I'm just trying to promote that aspect for other people, because that's what I offer. So it's also, when it comes to money and things like that, you really have to make sure that your number one goal isn't to, make people feel like you're out for money, because we never want to come across that our main goal is not the other person, right? That they're not important, that we just want their money. We have to make sure that other people feel like it is about like a good cause, things like that, and that's why they should come and support your cause, that sort of thing. So it's making sure that people really know, yourselves, but then we also want to attract people who also are interested. That would be the key thing. So we're not targeting soap to people who don't use soap. Makes sense, right? So we're not going to target for healing, for instance. We're not going to, work on manifesting with someone who absolutely doesn't believe in that. That's just not something that they believe in. So we're not gonna try to shift people's mindsets towards like liking something that they just refuse to like. So we're really, really working on targeting people who already have some form of interest, and then you're gonna find that things are getting a bit brighter for you. It becomes more optimistic. The energy just seems easier. So the other, I think, key thing here is not seeing things in black and white. It's all about the gray area, right? It's everything in between. So if you're coming across like too specific and too like on that sort of thing, it can come across as like that you're not extremely like versatile yourself. Because when we're in sales, everybody knows that people want people who are flexible, who are willing to budge a little bit, that sort of thing, that there's never a problem, we can just work around it, that sort of thing. So you have to be extremely, extremely accessible when you're selling as well, because if somebody actually does want what you have and you're not there, then they may kind of complain about that and say, well, I did want this, but then you weren't the first person available, so I went to someone else. So really making sure that when it comes to social media, things like that, that you're on top of all your stuff, and that you're able to stay well organized, but making sure you're not staying in that judgment energy while you're doing that. And these are some of the obstacles that I find come up in sales that I wanted to discuss with you guys. So feel free to comment. I hope that this is helpful for you. It's a little random for me to be talking about this, but apparently somebody out there needed to hear, and I'd really appreciate it if you click the thumbs up button if you were one of those people. So take care. Namaste. Bye.